Good morning, everybody. It is Road to Recovery. It is February 19th, 2024. And sorry about the delay this morning. I had some problems with my webcam. I'm hoping you can all hear me. Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. Good. Haven't used the headphones in a while. Yeah, it's a holiday morning for us here in the States. So I'm going to have to actually break away. Uh, have to keep a very short recording this morning. It's Monday morning chat. So the purpose of Monday morning chat is I give my audience an opportunity to be able to interact with me. If you have any questions pertaining to your recovery, or if you just like to discuss things, you have the opportunity of being able to chime in with me this morning. I do this every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern time. So feel free to, if you have questions, comments, concerns, drop them in the chat below and I will respond directly. If I don't get any chatters this morning, I will go ahead and talk about the things that I want to talk about. Still having my battles with Twitter. As of right now, I'm still shadow banned. Haven't been able to get back in, which is fine. I think the only reason I'm concerned about it is because it's my number one area of outreach. But as I'm starting to discover, I really don't need to do outreach through Twitter anymore. I find that I've got more than enough subscribers who organically come across me through YouTube. Speaking of that, if you like this content, be feel free to like, share, and subscribe. It's the way that I get my message out. I don't make any money in any of the things that I do here. There's no monetization going on. I do this as part of my 12th step, giving back to the addict who still suffers. So anyone who's working through the steps or is just struggling with porn addiction, hey, I am not exclusively a 12 step guy. I advocate all areas of recovery. If you're a NoFap, welcome. If you're trying to go through the SMART program, welcome. Everybody is welcome here. Um, I so happen to have gone through a 12-step program, so I'm familiar with being able to discuss the details of that. But I've helped people in NoFap, I've helped people in SMART, I've helped people in several different recovery programs. You've even seen interviews where I've had people that have just tried helping themselves, right? I don't think that there's any one correct way of doing recovery. I think recovery is just something you do. What I do think is that there can be a system. There could be some systems that are better than others, and what you've seen here on my channel is a an attention to detail. I try to get all the information I possibly can, things that I know will benefit people, things that have um, been tried and true procedures that have actually worked, something that's got some methodology behind it. If it works, I try doing it and I try passing those techniques along. Recently, I've added a tactics. Playlist to my channel. You can go check that out. Those tactics are things that I've done not only with myself, but I've also been working with other sponsees on other tactics that are tried and true, things that I know that in fact do work and that can be folded inside of a recovery plan. And it's good to know the tactics because these tactics have to be automatic. They're things that you have to cognitively think about. They're tactics that have to have an approach to them. So when we talk about like playing a game, for example, like if you're playing, soccer, football, baseball, whatever the sport is, you don't just go in blindly and play the sport. You have to have some idea of how the game mechanics work. And for those who are really good in the sport, they have to practice, right? That's what we do here in recovery. We practice. We go through the techniques that we know that work, and we keep practicing them until we get good at them. Why is that? Because being an addict, you don't have control. That's the hallmark of addiction is recognizing that you do things over and over again and nothing seems to be working. And the reason why is because you're under the illusion that you think that you have control over what you're doing, but it is in fact an illusion because the mechanics of the brain have other ideas. You've formulated these habits that are so nested in that you cannot, even with the most amount of willpower that you possibly can muster, you still seem to be caving in, and that's because you waited too late. You let the triggering happen, and then you got back into the craving. Well, if you start mastering some good tactics into your recovery plan, you're going to be able to objectively keep away a lot of the triggers. And if it in the offbeat or the off chance that you do happen to get triggered and you start falling into a craving, the mechanics of what to do next are so nested inside of you that you're just following the game plan. You're following the routine. Oh, this is the time I need to be calling somebody. Oh, this is the time I need to be stepping outside. Like those things are built into your DNA, right? And you know what to do next. That's the way you have to be. My sponsor like to say to me all the time, the addict is in the room next door doing push-ups, and he's right. Your addiction is ruthless, man. Your addiction is ready and primed, and you have to be ready and primed. You can't just be weak. You have to be strong. The way you get strong is through the constant practice of doing these tactics and routines and understanding what your game plan is supposed to be. If you're not staying disciplined, you're going to fail. I hate to say it. You're going to fail because no man's an island. We're not going to be able to be stick ourselves out into a some sort of tropical destination where there's no people around, right? You're not Robinson Crusoe. No one is. You've got to exist in a real world with real triggers. So how do you function that way? You set rules for yourself. All right, it is 9:17 a.m. right now. I don't see anybody in the chat. I'm just going to keep going for a few minutes more here. I'll give somebody the opportunity. If they want to, you can come on in, you can chat, you can ask me any questions. What else was going on this week? Um, yeah, I think I talked about it last week, but recently put up a video where I was talking about staying away out of dangerous social circles. And I'll just kind of echo what I said in that video, which is that you really have to be cognizant sometimes about, especially in this digital age, about what is a triggering effect and what can trigger you. And oftentimes, our social circles online will be the thing that is the dangerous area. More and more, we're living in a day and age where people go inside of their content wells. It used to be that in the old days of the internet, you would go, hunt and search for the things that you want. And more people are starting to get lazy, get into social circles online where they either find a thread or a Discord channel or what have you, where content's just fed to them, right? Where people are giving them what they want to see as opposed to going and hunting and trying to find the thing that they're looking for. And once you start getting accustomed to that level of socialization, then the socialization actually becomes the trigger, I've found. And a lot of men that I work with, they have this problem with the separation of that, because not only are you isolating yourself from the the triggering effect of sexuality, but you're also isolating yourself from the other addictive part, which is the socialization, the interaction that's happening. And so things like, getting rid of a social media app, or, sometimes dating apps, what have you, whatever the application is, the thing that's causing you to relapse over and over again. Some people just become blind to the idea that this is the cause. This is the thing that needs to be in what we call in the 12 step areas, the inner circle. Like that has to be added, because no one wants to say, well, there's nothing wrong with social media. Mm, the last 5 times that you acted out, where were you? And if you say social media, right? So you have to be real. You have to be real about. I think I lost internet for just a second there. I apologize. I don't know why that just happened, but where was I? So the arguments you might hear. That is the second time I lost net access. So I apologize if this is cutting in and out for you. But the rationalizations that people go through to say that, well, I don't need to get rid of social media. Well, why not? It's like, well, this is a modern way. It's what my generation does. Again, rationalization, rationalization, rationalization. So they keep trying to rationalize the reason why they need to be on whatever their app is. Um, and or it might be a chat, it might be, whatever the thing is that's providing the triggering, you'll rationalize it to the end of time that you should be having that thing. But the reality is that you shouldn't. You shouldn't be there, and you need to be real with it. And no one's ever going to die because they didn't have their Twitter, or they didn't have their Kick, or they didn't have their whatever, fill in the blank, you know? No one ever died from not having that. So, what's your excuse? That's it this morning. I think I'm going to cut out and spend some time with the family. My name is Road to Recovery. I hope that you like this content. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, you can reach out to me on Twitter at Road to Recovery 11. And even though I am currently right now shadow banned, I still check my DMs on a regular basis. So I will always look at, if anybody needs to reach out to me, you can reach out to me there. Alternatively, you could reach out to me at my Yahoo email address. That's road to recovery 11 at yahoo.com. Again, that's ROAD, the number two, recovery 11 at yahoo.com. And I just want to say for all of those in a fight right now, just keep it up, man. Just keep it up. You never stop. You always keep working on what you need to do. And if you have a series of failures that are going on right now, be the detective. Like I said in my other video, it's like you got to sit down and be the detective. What is going on? What is not working for me? What do I need to change? But you never give up, right? And you can always reach out to me if you have questions about how to formulate the recovery plan. I try to answer as many as I possibly can. I'll always try to be out there for anybody that's trying to do the right thing and trying to work through this addiction. Thank you for joining, and stay on that road to recovery. Take care of yourself this morning.